Hey everybody, it's Justice for Comics. It is Saturday morning. I didn't have time yesterday to do the review of the Hot 10 list from CBSI, so I decided I'll do it here this morning. I was out enjoying the beautiful weather, playing a round of golf. Man, it was fantastic. The weather it's probably one of the last, I think this weekend's like the last good weekend of mild weather that we're going to have here in Florida before the summer comes. So the heat is coming. The heat is coming. All right, let's jump into it here. Let's take a look at our list. A couple interesting books on there. Let me zoom in a little bit here. All right. We'll start off with the honorable mentions. Of course, you got to have an old book on there, as CBSI likes to do. Planet Comics number 51. Says here a 9.4 copy sells about every 2 years and has sold at exactly the same amount since 2015, $2,400. A copy sold this week for 50% higher at $3,700. I love the random skull laying on the ground and what is with the smoke trail that is wrapped around Our Lady in Red. It's an older book, scarce, golden age. Probably not too many high-grade copies out there. Again, the market for all assets right now is very, very inflationary. Yet, if you live in this country, the United States, the government will tell you there's no inflation. The Federal Reserve will say there's absolutely no inflation. Don't believe those liars. There absolutely is. All you have to do is look at something as simple as comic books, right? The prices of a lot of these older books, a lot of key books, have gone through the absolute roof. And stuff that used to be somewhat affordable is completely out of reach for most people today. So, yeah, that's where we're at. Prices continue to increase. Another one, honorable mention, is Fathom number 11, Michael Turner, Wizard World Texas variant. I saw somebody post on Instagram the other day, remembering his passing. It's hard to believe. I think he passed away back in I think it was 2007. It's been a number of years now since Michael Turner's passed, and his art is still relevant. I think people still like his style. He definitely had a unique style of his art that's pretty recognizable. And yeah, this is definitely an awesome looking cover of Fathom, and only 1,000 print run. Probably pretty rare. Copy sold this week, a raw copy for $200. So let's prior sale to that was $75, and that was a signed copy. So I would imagine a signed copy might be the one to go for, seeing as how he's not going to be signing any more copies anymore, right? So Michael Turner, I enjoyed his work, and I still think about him once in a while. Somebody who passed away way too young, way too young. Number 10 is New X-Men number 5. First appearance of Pixie. I don't know if there's a new show with that character. I don't know why this is relevant, but $5 to $10 book now, selling between $20 and $25. There you go. Next one there is, move my camera over a little bit, Whalesville number 1. This is something I pre-ordered. I just thought the cover looked cool. I have no idea what it's about, but selling around $25 to $30, and this is under the Bad Idea publishing print. So Matt Kent is the writer, who's done quite a few other things. So yeah, it looks interesting. The cover looks awesome. I think it was not a cheap book. I think I pre-ordered it and I paid $8 or $9. So it wasn't like a typical, $4 comic book. I think it's oversized. It's probably going to be looking more like a graphic novel type size, but I think I should be getting that pretty soon in my next DCBS order. And by the way, I did place my orders for May, so I will be shooting another video reviewing the books that I've decided to pick up in pre-order for the month of May for June release, right? So I'll go over that in the next video. All right, next one here is The Crow number 1, older book from the 90s. 9/8 just sold just shy of $10,000. John Z, must be affiliated with CBSI, has been hailing this book for years. What is the ceiling on this? Question mark. I remember watching the Crow movie. Sad story there. Brandon Lee, Bruce Lee's son, passed away during the making of the film. The film was pretty cool. It had a cool style to it. It also, I think one of the songs in the movie I liked, which was called Dead Souls by, what's the name of that group? Kind of an old English band. I'll think of it in a minute. But, it's a cool movie. It had a cool style to it. And people are still interested in it to this day. And they're still making Crow comic books. So, there you go. Number 7 is Star Wars, The High Republic #1, the Gabriel Delato variant. I believe this was a Panini exclusive. I think it was out of Germany, if I'm not mistaken. So there were some stores that sold it in the U.S. I was lucky enough to pick up a couple copies. I picked up one for like $40, and I think I bought another one around $60, and it's selling around $85 to $100 right now. I think the print run was around 1,000. So not a big print run, but Delato is highly collectible. His art is sought after by a lot of different collectors. So yeah, I think long term that book could continue to do well. Don't be surprised if that's a $200, $250, maybe $300 book at some point. Number 6 is Secret Wars, Secret Love #1. It says here this was basically a non-seller. Now it is a $30 to $40 book. Throw a few eyes on something that isn't easy to find, and this is what happens, right or wrong. So I don't know. Is this something that came out recently? It looks like an old book. It looks, I don't know. The art style looks like it's an older book, but I think that's a new. Yeah, it's a Marvel title. I have no idea. Never heard of it. Don't know anything about it, but yeah, non-seller because it doesn't look that interesting. So I guess if something has a low print run because no one's interested in it, does that mean it's worth money? I don't know. Seems interesting. Number 5, Eve #1, the Inhook Lee 1 in 50 variant. I debated getting this. I mean, it's a good cover. Yeah, I probably could have grabbed it off Midtown for around $55. I think they had it for around $55. Obviously, I wish I had. It's a $125 book now. Easily sells around $100, so I think most of the sales in the last week or two are right around that $100 range. It's a cool cover. It looks like an interesting story. I mean, who doesn't love a robot bear, teddy bear? Sounds pretty cool. I did pick up an exclusive variant the other day by Igor Lamov, I think his name is. That was through Trinity Comics. Print run on that was 1,000 copies, and it was only like $25. It's still available actually, so it is a cool cover. I think it's better than the Inhook Lee cover, but Inhook Lee 1 in 50, yeah, that's probably going to be a lot more scarce. Maybe way less than 1,000 copies out there. I don't know what the pre-orders on Eve #1 is, but yeah, right now that seems to be the book everyone's going after, is the Inhook Lee. Number 4 is Lady Killer #1. This was a independent title that came out several years ago. I think it was through Dark Horse, if I'm not mistaken. 9/8s are selling around $350 and a raw around $125. I remember I could have bought this whole series, a whole set for like $50 a couple years ago. There was news on it at least 2 years ago that it was being developed into something. Looks like that's finally happening. But the news on that initially was literally like 2 years ago. And I probably should have bought the set. It was only $50. But now they have casting. They announced some casting on the show. So yeah, the book's starting to move a little bit more. It's cool art. Joelle Jones, who does Catwoman, I mean, she's got a nice style of art. I like the look of the book. So yeah, if you've got that in your collection, be proud, dust it off, maybe sell it if you want to. Number 3 is Star Wars #23, the Jorge Molina 1 in 25 variant. It's a cool cover. This was a book that came out a few years ago. I guess this is the first appearance of Bad Batch, or that's Bad Batch on the cover. $120 book now. Wow. So this was a $20 to $25 book that now is exploded. That might be one to look for at your LCS. Who knows? You might be able to find that in a back issue bin for cheap. So keep your eye out for that one. And number 2 on the list is Green Lantern number 59. They announced the casting of Guy Gardner for the HBO's Green Lantern series. So obviously this book is moving based on that news. A 7.0 sold around $800 this week, a 6.0 for $575, and a 3.0 for over $500. Wow. Man. $500 for a 3.0, and you could have got a 6 for $75 more. I think the guy that bought the 6.0 did pretty well. It says these are by far all-time highs in grade. HBO doesn't do anything lame, so all I can do is cross my fingers. All right, so if you own that book, be happy. This might be a time to sell it, if especially if you don't like the grade that you're in. If you're in a lower grade, this might be a time to unload it, especially if you have plans to upgrade to a higher graded copy. That might be the time to do it. Number 1 is Black Widow number 6, the Raza 1 in 25 variant. This was on the list last week. It's a cool cover. I like Raza's artwork. I didn't think this cover, it didn't blow me away. Like when I saw this cover, I didn't automatically have that feeling like, oh, I got to own that. But obviously it would have been nice. It was a $25 to $30 book. That's now $125 to $150. Even the A cover, I guess, is selling in the $20 to $25 range. So, yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens with this book. But the Black Widow series doesn't seem to be doing that well. I don't think a lot of people are buying it, but maybe that's why this book's so expensive. There's not a lot of shops that probably ordered 25 copies of issue number 6 of Black Widow when most LCSs probably don't even sell 10 copies, is my guess. Black Widow has never been a title that's sold very well at all. So, yeah, these incentive variants, they're probably pretty scarce. That's what's driving the price right now. Long term, we'll have to see what happens. You do a lot better if there's some first appearance that coincides. But right now, that is definitely a hot book. So there's your hot 10 list, guys. I wanted to get that out. I know I kind of ramble a little bit, 12 minutes already. I will have the pre-order video out probably this weekend, so look for that. Hope you guys have a great weekend. I'll see you soon.